Hello, everybody, and welcome back. How'd you like that title? Did I get your interest? Did I get some clicks in there? I thought that was funny. I'm trying to come up with those kind of titles there with get people to click and view some more of my stuff in there. But the essence of this video is talking about my new DK that I'm loving. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. I used to be a healer main about 4 years ago. Didn't think I could do any DPS. Just wasn't in the cards for me. I said, there's no way, and, upper level content was not for me. Well, then I had some friends that got me into a mag blade. And for some reason, the mag blade, during the Somerset days, I could just, I could understand it. And so I had a rotation going, and I was working on it and working on it and working on it, and I would get better. Actually, my first parses were around 19, 20K on the smaller dummies. I'd work on it, I'd spend hours on it and practice, learn about rotations. And over the years, I got really good at it. But it was always kind of a struggle. It was one of those things, and a lot of people know that Magicka, Night Blades are kind of complicated and kind of tough to pull off. And I didn't really have a knack for it as a lot of other people did, and I never got the damage numbers. And even though, I always say, because I have my dad builds and stuff on this channel, that, the damage numbers in parses don't mean a hill of beans. Learning mechanics and doing other things for 99% of this game, for 99% of the game, you don't need any of these high parsing things and all that stuff. You play what you want, you enjoy what you like in there, and I'm a firm believer of that, and even still. But then I had a wonderful opportunity the last couple of weeks to be able to get into the Magicka Dragon Knight and all the wonderful changes that have come up with the recent update to it. And I got involved with this group who are actually, score pushing, end game, the 1%, really trying to do that, trifectas and everything with that. And they're like, well, if you want to get, a Godslayer achievement, there's actually a job, because everybody, when we get to that level, everybody has to do their own job and be in their own group. And there is something called the Zen DK. And I'm like, what is that? And then my wonderful friend, Defy Legends, explained what it was and what I'd have to do. And I'm like, well, I do actually have a DK. And actually, Magicka DKs I was always confused about because I didn't realize that they were a Magicka melee build. I usually do a lot of, range attacking, being a Magicka, Nightblade. And so it was all staffs and stuff. So I'm like, what could I do with it and stuff. So he mentioned, what what would the build kind of looks like and stuff, and what the job is in Sunspire to be able to go after the Godslayer achievement. And I said, okay. So one of the things, if you don't know about me, is that I'm very good, maybe it's the teacher in me, I'm very good at following directions. If you give me a direction and you tell me to research, I research. And that's what I did. I researched and I watched videos and I did all this stuff. I did a lot of preparing. And one of the key things I needed was a rotation. I needed a way to be able to do the damage that I wanted to do, to be a contributing factor to this group. Because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't thought of as being carried. A lot of us, have that fear, within that. And so I wanted to make sure that I had the mechanics down. I wanted to make sure, in my brain, I'm like, okay, I can't do as well as a lot of these others that can pump out this damage so well. But I can do the mechanics. I can make sure I don't die and really research and do as much as I can. Well, then I discovered, and actually just kind of fortuitous, all kind of worked together. My friend Skinny Cheeks recently made a new Dragon Knight build, and was parsing like in the 120s or 130s with different variations of weapons and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I started watching and I researched and I didn't understand at first. And I'm looking at all the different options and I'll put the link to Skinny's video down there. If you really want to know and you want to have all your options and what things that you could do, please watch that video. Really absolutely amazing. I said so much so and inspiring that it got me into this DK. And so I found my rotation. I'm like, well, I could do this. And Skinny gives lots of great options of what you could do. Even as far as, like weapons, if you wanted to do a dual wield with daggers and a back bar of a greatsword. There is also the option that I went with, which was the dual daggers and a staff, because I'm very used to the staff. I still like to have that range, and my brain was like, okay, well, I still have a range component, but then I can get up close if I need to, which you do need to, with a dual wield. And so that was kind of my foundation, and then finding out the skills that I could do. And I had a lot of success with it. And I probably pestered Skinny too much because I wanted to show him how great his build was and it really kind of changed my my outlook on parsing, which I love parsing just as a, funny enough, zen thing to do, that I just like finding that flow in that mesh and that light attack weaving. It's very rhythmic, it's very musical. And everybody knows me. I'm a professional trumpet player, so that's kind of a big part of it for me. So I figured out this rhythm, and I started to have this great success with it. And let me show you. I always tell people I don't show my parse numbers to gloat. I show it for improvement, to just celebrate the improvement. And so here's the Mandalorian. Yeah, I'm a character of Mandalorian. I love it. My first time doing it, this first, figuring out the rotation, using the rotation of Skinnies, I got 85K, over 85K. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, my Nightblade, biggest numbers, this one was, I was messing around with something. My Magic Nightblade was 86. That was really the average. And then one time I had a weird thing, and I think I just light weaved perfectly, and I got to 88. And I'm just like, wow, I'm just learning this. And I got to 85. I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, wow. And then I'm like, I tried a little bit later. And I'm like, can you see this is all in the same day? April 4th. And I got to 89. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just learning this and I'm beating my other one. And then I got to 93 and I was elated. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm into the 90s. It's absolutely incredible. And then I come back the next day, a little fresher, a little newer. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm at 95. And then I start to share it around to people and stuff and show them. And then one of one of the great parsers in ESO, 8 Puppies, I showed him my stuff, and he's like, if you, I was sure, he says, if you take that weaving average of yours, this 0.145, and get it closer down to 1 or underneath, you're going to start doing even more damage. You'll hit 100. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to hit 100 if I do. You're crazy. Well, I just kind of went at it. And I said, you know what? Let's go. And look what I did. I got close, not even down to all the way to 1, the 0.111 with my speed. And I got my 110. I mean, 110. I got my 100, over 100K Parse. I was floored. I was like, oh my gosh. And the rotation that I was doing felt so easy to me. It felt so, maybe because I had parsed so hard and you can't miss and you can't do anything wrong on a Magicka Nightblade parsing, and everything has to happen at the right time and stuff. Where this one, I just felt so much freer to do stuff. If I happened to miss stuff, it didn't really mean too much. I could fill it in with another, at another time, and it would still work. And I was just elated. I was elated that I could do this, and I was sharing it with Skinny, I was sharing it with Ape, I was sharing it with Defy, I was sharing it with all these people. And I did that, and they're like, "You're ready to come with us on the Godslayer." I'm sure they would have taken me, regardless. But this is when I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can do this." And so at this point that I'm recording the video, I don't have Godslayer yet. We've only done 2 days of working on it with the group. And I feel very confident. It's really kind of neat to that you don't know until you get in there and try all the hard modes and try not to die and do that. I know that I can do that. And then on our third run, we had third completes in it. I actually did something that stunned everybody, even me, in there. I actually, on the first boss, the ice boss Locke, or Locke, or however you like to pronounce everything, I did this. I got top DPS. And I am in no way belittling anybody I'm lucky. In my brain, I go, oh my gosh, I'm lucky to have done that. But, to put in the words that Defy said in there, hey, if anybody ever questions and says that you were carried through this because you're a streamer or whatever, you show them this. And I'm kind of doing it to that. He used a little stronger language that I like to use in there, but you can even tell from my excitement now how much that means to me, that I can do it and have this meaningful damage. And everybody in my community rallied around that, thought that was absolutely incredible, to do it. And that's what spawned this video in here. I don't want to show you another, a Skinny video, because Skinny, it boggles my mind of how much that he knows and stuff. I want to show you what I was able to take from that rotation, the choices I made in it, and show you how I was able to parse so well within that. So let's go ahead and let me show you all the decisions that I made. And I'm so excited to do this. And kind of be able to break it down for everybody, what this new DK for me is, and the rotation that I use to do all the stuff. So, all right. So let's go into the armory. I'm going to go into my Skinny Parse. That's why I named after Skinny. In there, let's equip the build. All right. Let's get that going. All right, we're going to go over a few things as you're doing these things. All the little things, kind of help when you're parsing. Make sure that you've got a little ethereal well to be able to, get all your stuff going. Food that I used was the Parse food. Do I have it here? The Ghastly Eyeball. All right. Even though I'm using boss A's, I was using spell power pots, when I would need them. Let's see, what else little things in there. Well, let's kind of just show you what I've got on me. All right. My setup is, for the helm, I've got Slimecraw, Max Magicka and Divines. Shoulders, I've got Boss A's. Divines, it's the whole Boss A set. Boss A's, Boss A's, Boss A's. All right, Boss A's in Divines and Magicka. I'm using the Kilt in Divines, Magicka. I have the Kinross set up on the rings and necklace, so the jewelry with spell damage and bloodthirsty. I have the Kinross daggers. The main hand is flame damage Nern. The offhand is poison and charged. And then I have the Maelstrom Perfected Inferno Staff infused with a weapon enchant on my back bar. I am using the Thief Mundus Stone. And for my CP, I am using Backstabber, Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, Master at Arms. Alright, so with all that set up before I even hit the dummy in there, I'm at a little over 30k for my Magicka. Spell damage is at 4277. Spell crit 55%. And you can see all the Magicka recovery numbers in there. Yeah. Alright, so let me see. Is that all as far as setup stuff? I mean, I'm going to explain all the what I have on my bar. That's kind of the last thing I want to do. But I think everything else, we're good to go on that. All right, so that's the setup. The Skinny had so many wonderful options on there, and so I went with, instead of having the two-hander on the back bar and the daggers, I went with the daggers on the front with the staff on the back. And so my skills are going to be accordingly to that. On the front bar, first thing I have is Barred Trap. I then have Molten Whip for my spammable. I have Engulfing Flames. I'm using Venomous Claw. I have Flames of Oblivion. And I have Dawnbreaker. On the back bar, I have Scalding Rune. I have Eruption, Unstable Wall, the Ball, Inner Light, and then the Standard. Now, there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different flex spots in here. One of them that people might get me for right away is like, why aren't you using degen with it? Well, I actually was doing degen with it, and I didn't get the 100 when I was doing it. And I was like, wait a second, it's not supposed to work that. Again, it's what, if you're, whenever you're doing builds, it's whatever works for you. For some reason, whenever I cast it, how I cast it, the distance away I am from target or whatever, the orb gives me, you know, more than degen. It shouldn't, but it does. You know, so always take that into consideration. You know, Skinny says that. A lot of people who make builds always say that. Always go with what works for you. So if swapping out, you know, degen for you gives you better, you know, parsing or whatever, you know, go right ahead. And that's why it's great for you to click on Skinny's link, check out that video, because he has all the options on there that you use. So these are the ones that I just happened to pick that made sense to me. Now, one of the new things that I had not known about or didn't do anything with my Magicka Nightblade was a pre-buff setup before you got going. Now, and actually, even prior to that, because I'm wearing Bosses, a lot of people will drain their Magicka with something, you know. So there's my Magicka, and so, you know, we've drained everything. I don't know. I'm terrible at this because, again, I go with what works for me. For some reason, when I do my setup, it all, you know, the Magicka always comes back. I do have the roar. You know, that's another thing. See, I'm kind of pointing out things I know people might call me on with this. In Battle Roar under Earthen Heart, when you cast an ultimate ability, you restore health, Magicka, and stamina, which for the boss aid beginning is probably not ideal. Well, actually, I know it's not ideal there. But when I don't have it, for when I'm casting all my stuff, I run out of Magicka, and then I don't have enough to do the rotation completely. That's just me. That's the fault of how I do things. So again, I include Roar on there because it actually helped me get, you know, a higher parse when I was doing things. So that's just me. So, but the good play, the recommended play is to get rid of a lot of your your magicka, because with boss Ace, you know, you get more damage with the when you have less less magicka. So. And Skinny actually shows you either in that video or another video where he's talking about different sets where he's got the, you know, what the percentages and stuff are and how much more damage that you do. So again, if I was able to do it cleanly and be able to do that, I'd probably be able to pump out more damage within it. So, all right. So here's the thing that you wanted to know. So you've got the setup, you've got all the things that I have, you're putting in all the things. What's the rotation that I was doing? Well, first part of it is the pre-buffing. You are going to buff the Flame of Oblivions, all right? You're going to cast it 3 times. So you cast it 3 times. It's not going to aggro anything. 1, 2, 3. We do that because that gives us our 3rd set already of Molten Whip. That when it gets to 3, it's going to do a big burst of damage. All right, so that's why we actually do that first to get that going. All right, because we can do that. As soon as I do that, I swap bars, boom, and I put down my rune, boom. I then swap bars again. If you notice, I'm not light attacking. I swap bars again, I put down the trap. I swap bars again, and now I do my first light attack. Light attack, and the wall, my 3rd button right there. Swap again, light attack, flames, light attack, claw, swap, light attack the ball, light attack my standard, all right, light attack eruption, my 2nd button, swap, and then I do light attack in the whip 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the end of the pre-buff routine. All right, so I'll go through that again. Now, do you have to do this? No. And actually, I was having a hard time doing it there. And Skinny also says this on his things. You can just throw down the standard, and boom, and just start going through the main rotation. If that works for you, wonderful. I was doing it that way. That's actually when I was getting like my 93 and 95. And when I got the pre-buff down after practicing it, I was able to get more damage out of it. So I saw the value of doing the pre-buff. All right, so pre-buff again. All right, so and actually, maybe what I'll do is just light up the things I'm doing. Flames of Oblivion 3 times. Swap. Scalding Rune. Swap. Barb Trap. Swap. Light Attack Wall. Swap. Light Attack Flames. Light Attack Claw. Swap. Light Attack Ball. Light Attack Standard. Light Attack Eruption. Swap. Light Attack Whip 4 times. Actually, I think that was probably better than showing another dummy. Yeah, so that's what you've got for the pre-buff. Then, the main part of the routine is actually, to me, very easy based upon where I put things on my bar. All right? I always like putting things strategically so that I'm able to find them easier. All right? So, first thing I do light attack my Oblivion, so I'm ready to go. All right? Then I swap, and I go light attack wall, light attack ball, light attack scalding rune. Swap. Light attack flames, light attack claw, light attack trap. Swap. Light attack eruption. Swap. Light attack molten whip 7 times. That's it. The only variation in there is put down the standard when the standard is ready to go. So let me go through that again. After I've done my pre-buff, the last thing on my pre-buff was doing 4 Molten Whip, so I'm already here. And I go Light Attack Flame, swap. Light Attack, I'm sorry, I should call it by the red. Light Attack Oblivion, swap. Light Attack Wall, Light Attack Ball, Light Attack Rune, swap. Light Attack Flame, Light Attack Claw, Light Attack Trap, swap. Light Attack Eruption, swap. Light Attack Molten Whip 7 times. Yeah. And then I'll throw Spell Power if I need it, whenever I need it, and then and usually I'll click that before I start everything anyway. That's it. So again, my routine of stuff, of getting my pre-buff going. 1, 2, 3, swap Rune, swap Trap, swap Light Attack Wall, swap Light Attack Flame, Light Attack Claw, swap Light Attack Ball, Light Attack Standard, Light Attack Eruption, swap, Light Attack 4 times with the whip. Then I'm in Light Attack Flames of Oblivion, swap, and now I'm into my rotation. Wall, Ball, Rune, swap, Flames, Claw, Trap, swap, Eruption, and then 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I start it all over again. That's my routine. Yeah. Now, I could be missing something or misinterpreting something. I'm hoping Skinny will watch this and say, oh, if you do this, you'll tweak that and everything, you'll be even more. Oh, okay. Or if any of you have any things that I might be doing wrong or I could do better or make sure that I have. Oh, and I just saw one. Make sure that you do your hunter's focus for the kilt is up. I just saw that. That's my other routine. Make sure that that's all ready to go at 10 stacks. So usually I'll be hitting the dummy, get those 10 stacks. I'll reset the dummy, and then I'm ready to go. So I just saw that one. So make sure that you've got that up too. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, put them down below. Make sure you hit that bell and everything. I don't do too much of crazy editing with any of my videos, just kind of time-wise for me. Being a teacher and all that. So, but I try my best with these videos, and I know people enjoy them. And I thank you very much for watching. And thanks to Skinny for creating this build. I tell you, it's meant the world to me with that. So go check out Skinny's material. Let me know how it works for you, because I tell you, I'm all in on this Magic and DK. So, all right, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.